All right, it's that time of the evening where we get a chance to check into Mr. Brian Shanker's MeatTribe YouTube channel for those meat deals of the week. And since tonight is Christmas Eve, what kind of deals do you have us going through the holidays? We got Christmas and we got New Year. So what do we got there, Brian?
All right, we've got a lot of good deals still from some are spilling over from last week. First up, Carnes. Their deals run through the 27th. And they've got some choice grade boneless sirloin tip roasts, steaks, or London broils for $4.99 per pound. And they've also got some choice grade whole boneless sirloin tips for $4.49 a pound. So you'll need to cut that down yourself. Food Lion, they've got a deal running through the 28th of December. They've got choice grade bone-in standing rib roast for $5.99 per pound. It does say limit one per household. I don't know if that means they're able to track you or not, and you can go separate shopping trips and get more than one, but that's what it says. So if somebody out there tries to get more than one and they're successful, let us know. And Harris Teeter, the longest running sale of rib roast going forever now this is through Christmas Eve, the 24th. So by the time some of you may hear this deal may be over, but they've got their rancher grade and choice grade bone-in rib roast, standing rib roast, or steaks for $7.99 for the rancher grade and $8.99 for the choice grade. And then they've also got the choice grade boneless chuck eye steak for $5.99. I still haven't made it down to the Harris Teeter to pick that up. Hopefully,
so listen, let me just recommend it. If you're watching this and you're hearing that deal that expires tonight, what you need to do is just go online and purchase it right now and just go pick it up later, whether it's tonight or pick it up tomorrow, but pay for it, get that deal tonight.
Yeah, you won't be unhappy with what you get there for sure. All right. Kroger, they have a deal running through the 28th of December. It's a choice grade bone-in ribeye roast, so a standing rib roast. People, these terms get used through, interchangeably. Ribeye roast, prime rib. Prime rib doesn't necessarily mean that it's prime grade, so don't confuse yourself. It's prime rib is referred to as a ribeye roast or a standing rib roast. For Kroger's deal, you have to spend $25. And you, as a bonus, get 2 times the fuel rewards. And their deal is for $7.99 per pound, and it is a limit one as well. And then Weiss, their deal runs through the 26th of December. They've got a bone-in standing rib roast. You got to use 200 Weiss reward points, and it's $6.99 per pound. And then they've got 2 boneless options. So the boneless Weiss Naturals grass-fed ribeye, and you have to use the 200 Weiss reward points, $6.99 per pound, and a boneless Weiss Naturals grass-fed ribeye roast. You'll have to use the 200 Weiss reward points, also $6.99 per pound. And then Giant, they have their deal going through the 25th of December, choice grade bone-in rib roast, $25 required purchase to get the sale price, $5.99 per pound, and limit to 1. And then the choice grade boneless New York strip roast, also $25 purchase requirement to get the sale price at $5.77 per pound, limit 1. I think you bought some of those, didn't you? Right before you went on vacation.
I did. And I'm having one, and I'm having one tonight. Actually, I'm having a 3-bone prime rib tonight.
Awesome. And how are you cooking that?
I'm going to do a reverse sear. I mean, Brian's reverse sear is just, it comes out perfectly the way I like it throughout. So I'm probably going to go the reverse sear.
Okay. So just explain that real quick for people that don't know what that means, if you don't mind.
No problem. So I'm going to stick it into the oven. And I'm going to slow roast it at about 225 until the internal temperature gets to about 120. Going to pull it out, going to crank the oven till, in my oven, 475. Going to wrap it back up, put it back in there for about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, bring it up to about 125, 130, however long it takes to do that, just to give it a good bark, a good crust, and seal those juices inside. Pull it out and ready to dive right in. And one of the things that I used to do, I used to wait after I pull it out the second time. But Brian said, well, no, once you let it rest the first time, before you put it back into your oven, get the 475 or 500, it's already rested. So when you pull it out that time, you just go ahead and cut into it and then start enjoying it. So that's what I will be doing.
That last little bit there is a pretty good tip. I have heard that as well. Whenever I'm trying to do something new, I watch a ton of YouTube videos, and I did hear a couple of videos about people doing that time period between taking it out and getting your oven or your smoker up to a higher temp is enough rest time for the meat. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And then so I got one more deal.
Sure.
Safeway, their deal ends Christmas Eve. So again, by the time you see this, you have just enough time to get out there and get this deal. It is also a rib roast. You have to spend $50, and there's also a digital coupon online that you have to download, and that's for $5.99 per pound. So if Safeway is the only store you have around, you can still get something really good there as well. So those are all the deals that I have. But if you got a minute or two, I wanted to bring up, last week I said I was going to do my next smoking project was going to be some ribs. I ended up not doing any ribs, but I did do a Boston butt, my first Boston butt, and did some pulled pork, and I smoked it. It took longer than I thought. Of course, whenever I go to smoke something, it seems to be really cold and windy outside, which sucks the heat right out of the smoker and makes you have to cook it longer. But no pun intended, that thing came out so good. I only used mustard as a binder on it and used some Blues Hog sweet and savory rub. And just I cooked it, wrapped it, smoked it, wrapped it, put it back in for a little while longer and took it out. And boy, most of it just fell apart. It just crumbled in my hands. Interestingly, though, there was one section across the top and kind of in the middle next to the bone. I did do a bone in that was really, really tough. So a section maybe about 2 to 3 inches wide and about maybe 3 to 4 inches deep. I'm not real familiar with that cut of pork. So I don't know if maybe you know why that section came out tough or not.
Well, let me ask you, so what was the temperature on your smoker and how long did you have to smoke it for? And what did you smoke it to?
So I started out smoking it at 225, but with the wind and the cold, it'll drop down to 175. It'll get up to 250, 275. And so in some cases I would, when it was prolonged time down lower, I did bump it up to 300, try to help maintain that 250 average. So the initial smoke was until it reached 160, and then I pulled it out and wrapped it in tin foil and then put it back in, and I played with the temperature again, varying it from 250 to 300 to 350 even near the end there, until it reached 190. And then I pulled it out at 190 and let it rest for 30 minutes. And then that's when I, after it rested, it was still really hot. Was pulling it apart, shredding it with a fork and my hands, really. Yeah.
The only thing I can think of, that bone just really retains that heat. And so it's still cooking that meat that's right there attached to the bone.
Okay.
And so, that's the only reason I can think of. But man, congratulations on nailing it. I mean, when it starts to fall off the bone and it's that moist as you're, picking it or shredding it with your fork, that makes for a good feast.
And we're still eating leftovers, still have some left. And I just heat the leftovers up. I put it on a plate in the microwave, cover it with a damp paper towel, and I cook it for a minute and a half on 60% power. And it's still like, I don't have to add water to keep it moist or anything. The juices are still just right in that meat. I was super, super happy.
Awesome. And that's a good buy, because what did that butt cost you? I mean,
$1.94 per pound. It was 5.88 pounds. It costs $11.40. and fed my family for a week almost.
Yeah. So there's great deals out there if you guys are looking for them that, you know, you still be able to eat meat and yet feed a family of 4 for a week. So yeah, it's a great buy. So don't overlook those butts out there because they can feed a lot of people.
Definitely.
All right. Well, Brian, how are you spending your Christmas Eve before we let you off here?
I'm going to take the kids up to see my mom on for a little bit, and then Christmas Day is we take the Christmas Story route, and we get Chinese food takeout. We don't go to the restaurant. We get Chinese takeout. We just fill ourselves up with Chinese food all day long, and just relax, watch Christmas movies. How about you guys?
I was going to say, no, we're just we'll just hang out with family here on the property, and I know I'm having a three bone prime rib this evening for Christmas Eve, but we'll probably have a ham or ham and eggs tomorrow. I know we got a ham that'll be cooking, so just hanging out, enjoying family, and spending time with the ones we love. So it's you know, a great time of year to be able to enjoy those really important people in your life.
So true.
So anyway, well, listen, to you and your family, Brian, Merry Christmas, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Same to you guys.
All right, take care, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.